After 50, rebuilding your life rarely begins with adding something new. More often, it begins when you notice that a role you have played for decades has become too small for the person you are now. The first role is the dependable one, the person who always handles it, fixes it, remembers it, and never needs anything in return. People may admire this role. They may even call it your greatest strength. But when reliability becomes your identity, asking for help can feel like failure. Rest can feel irresponsible. Other people's disappointment can feel like proof that you have done something wrong. The deeper cost is easy to miss. Everyone learns that you will carry the weight, including you. Rebuilding begins when you separate being trustworthy from being endlessly available. You can keep your integrity without making yourself the emergency system for every person around you. The question is not whether you are still capable. The question is whether every burden that reaches you still belongs in your hands. Once you become the dependable one, another role often grows around it, the peacemaker. You learn to sense tension before anyone speaks. You soften your words, change the subject, absorb the insult, and make the room comfortable again. For years, this may have protected relationships. It may have helped you survive a family where conflict felt dangerous or a workplace where disagreement had consequences. But peacekeeping can quietly become self-erasure. You stop asking whether the situation is fair and start asking only how quickly you can make everyone calm. Real peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of honesty without punishment. When you outgrow the peacemaker role, you do not become cruel or argumentative. You simply stop volunteering your nervous system as the place where everyone else's discomfort gets stored. And that creates the next challenge, because when you stop calming every crisis, you may discover how many people expected you to rescue them from the consequences of their own choices. The rescuer role feels noble because it is built around help. You give advice before it is requested. You solve problems before others have tried. You lend time, money, attention, and emotional energy because watching someone struggle feels almost unbearable. Yet rescuing is not always the same as loving. Sometimes it is a way to avoid feeling helpless. Sometimes it protects you from rejection because being needed feels safer than simply being known. And sometimes it allows other people to remain dependent while you remain exhausted. Outgrowing the rescuer does not mean abandoning people. It means allowing capable adults to experience responsibility, uncertainty, and growth. It means asking, do you want support, or do you want me to take this over? That single question can reveal the entire pattern. When you stop measuring love by how much you sacrifice, you begin to see another role hiding underneath, the worker whose value depends on constant usefulness. For many people over 50, work has never been only work. It has been structure, status, proof, routine, community, and an answer to the question, who are you? That is why slowing down can feel strangely threatening, even when you have wanted more freedom for years. The productive role says that a day only counts if something measurable was completed. It turns rest into guilt and curiosity into wasted time. Research on retirement and identity suggests that leaving a professional role can change how people define themselves, especially when work has occupied a central place in the self. But the answer is not to reject everything your career gave you. It is to carry forward the qualities beneath the title, discipline, judgment, creativity, and leadership, without requiring the old position to validate them. You are not only the job you performed. And when the calendar becomes quieter, another identity may become visible, the caregiver who has organized life around everyone else's needs. Consider someone named Elaine, 62, who spent years coordinating appointments for her mother, solving problems for her adult children, and keeping the household running while working full-time. When her mother died and her children became more independent, Elaine expected relief. Instead, she felt unnecessary. She kept checking her phone, inventing errands, and offering help no one had requested. The silence did not feel peaceful. It felt like disappearance. Caregiving can become so central that personal desires begin to seem selfish or even unfamiliar. Studies have described how people can experience a loss of self when the caregiver role expands to occupy too much of their identity. Elaine did not need to stop caring. She needed to learn that care could be one expression of her life, not the definition of her existence. She began with a difficult question. What do I choose when nobody urgently needs me? That question led her toward the next role, the loyal keeper of relationships, routines, and identities that had already ended. Loyalty is beautiful until it requires you to remain emotionally loyal to a version of life that no longer exists. You may keep friendships alive through memory alone. You may continue family traditions that leave everyone drained. You may defend choices you would not make today because changing your mind feels like betraying your younger self. Elaine kept attending a monthly gathering where she felt invisible because the group had been together for 30 years. She called it loyalty, but she left each evening feeling smaller. Outgrowing this role does not erase the past. It places the past in its proper position, behind you, as history, not above you, as authority. Continuity matters as we age, but continuity does not require repetition. You can honor what a relationship meant without pretending it still nourishes you. And when you finally permit yourself to change, you may meet the role that has protected all the others, the strong one who never admits grief, confusion, or fear. The strong one does not complain. The strong one adapts. The strong one says, I'm fine, because other people have problems too. But strength without honesty becomes isolation. Here is the deeper inversion: these roles were not proof that you lived incorrectly. They were intelligent adaptations. The dependable one created safety. The peacemaker protected belonging. The rescuer made helplessness feel manageable. The worker created worth. The caregiver created purpose. The loyal one preserved continuity. The strong one protected dignity. You do not need to hate these roles in order to outgrow them. You only need to recognize that a strategy can save you in one chapter and imprison you in the next. Rebuilding after 50 is not about destroying your former self. It is about keeping the wisdom while releasing the compulsion. Real strength may now look like asking for help, naming disappointment, grieving what ended, or allowing someone to misunderstand you without rushing to repair their opinion. The final role is the most difficult to release, the version of you that everyone else recognizes. Families, friends, and workplaces often prefer consistency because your change forces them to adjust. When you set a new boundary, someone may call you distant. When you rest, someone may call you lazy. When you choose differently, someone may say, this isn't like you. They may be right. It may not be like the old you. Rebuilding begins with 3 questions. What did this role once protect? What does it cost me now? Which strength can I keep without continuing the performance? Then choose one small experiment. Let a message wait. Decline one obligation without a long explanation. Spend 1 hour doing something that has no value except that it interests you. A life after 50 does not need to be a smaller version of the life before it. It can be more honest, more deliberate, and more fully yours. You are not betraying your past by becoming someone your past could not yet imagine. You are finally allowing your life to grow with you. If this speaks to where you are now, share the role you are ready to outgrow.